I'd like to talk to you today about the transforming power of adventure. I'm in no doubt at all that adventure has the power to be transformative, and I'd like to explain why and how. But first, what is adventure? To me, adventure is an unusual, exciting or daring experience. And being adventurous is about having the curiosity and courage to step into the unknown and occasionally the uncomfortable, to have an unusual, exciting or daring experience. What I've discovered during the course of my life is this, that if you make a habit of being adventurous, you'll develop the following powerful character traits: of being inquisitive and curious, strong-willed and determined, adaptable and resourceful, courageous and self-confident. You'll develop humility and empathy, robustness and resilience, and many more qualities besides. At the age of 12, I was at a junior house boarding school in Sussex when this geography report was written about me. It shows that I was bottom of my year group in class and also in the exams. My geography teacher, a Mr. Robertson, had added a handwritten note which said, and I quote, "Neil is trying very hard, but achieving very little." Not particularly encouraging, you might agree. And disappointingly for me, geography was my best subject. But that wasn't my only problem. Despite the angelic looks, I got caught organising a large alcoholic rave. And having been found out, the headmaster gave me 8 lashings of the cane when corporal punishment was still allowed. And I was also expelled from school. When I was finally allowed to return, a careers tutor suggested I should become a banker. But we soon agreed that that wasn't such a great idea when I managed to score a U grade in my maths GCSE. That, for the uninitiated, is the lowest possible grade failed that you can get. But the good news is this: even academically challenged people like me can be adventurous. My first adventurous expedition was a 3-day canoeing and camping trip on my local river when I was just 13 years old. When I turned 18, I travelled across the other side of the world on a cargo ship to try and find a fire-breathing dragon in the jungles of West Papua. And I had many more adventures when I became a Royal Marine Commando at the age of 19. And during my 12 years in a Special Forces regiment as an Army reservist, there were also plenty of other daring and exciting experiences. Turning my hand to commerce and business, I founded my own company in the construction industry, and with the same adventurous outlook. The business grew from nothing to 40 million turnover during a 15-year period, and it was then sold to a FTSE 100 company in 2011. Look, I'll be honest, I may not have been clever enough to be a banker, but being adventurous helped me to put a fair money in a bank. Adventure has taken me on some incredible journeys as well, to both geographic poles, across the Sahara Desert, and to the summit of Mount Everest. And who could forget sitting in the middle of a colony of penguins in Antarctica, or eating popcorn in the middle of the Sahara Desert, or indeed getting drunk on Sherpa rice wine in the high Himalayas. In 2018, some friends and I set a new Guinness World Record for the highest black tie dinner party at 23,000 feet on Mount Everest. The delicious 3-course meal was made by none other than 2 Michelin star chef Sat Baines, who's one of the finest chefs in the entire world. The temperature was a minus 25 degrees centigrade, which is an awful lot lower than where the ice lollies and the ice cream lives in your deep freezer. And my team also raised a whopping £100,000 for charity off the back of this exciting, adventurous journey. So, adventure has definitely transformed my life, and it's helped many others less fortunate too. But if my story alone doesn't convince you, allow me to introduce you to 3 completely different people and friends of mine whose lives were also transformed by adventure. Let's meet David Fox Pitt. David was earning a living in Edinburgh as a salesman for a telecoms and computer company, but his boss was somewhat of a tyrant, and let's be frank, he loathed working for him. He also actually hated dressing up and being in a suit and tie all day. Finally, when David was refused an extra week's holiday so that he could join me on an exciting expedition to Indonesia, he made the difficult decision to quit his job. After 2 weeks spent climbing Carsten's Pyramid, the highest peak in the Australasian continent, we were travelling into the jungle and stayed with the Dani tribe deep in the forest of West Papua. Incredibly, the Dani still go out to hunt for their dinner in the jungle with bow and arrow, and they don't wear any clothes. It really, truly was an extraordinary experience. Well, we came back home and David was inspired to start his own adventure challenge business called Wild Fox Events. In the intervening 24 years, David has lived the outdoor life he always craved. His events have raised an astonishing £40 million for charities. And last year, he went to Buckingham Palace and received an MBE from none other than the Queen. Adventure has definitely transformed David's life. Now let's meet Lucy Shepherd. Lucy, when I met her, was a typically shy and retiring young girl. But she explained to me that she was very keen to be an adventurer. She also had such a look of determination in her eye and was quite persistent. So I ended up offering her a place on an Arctic expedition to Norway that I'd been planning. This expedition included a week's tough cross-country skiing across the remote Hardangervidda Plateau, following the route of the heroes of Telemark in World War II. Lucy joined my team of former soldiers and seasoned explorers. I can tell you it was midwinter and absolutely bitterly cold, but she was absolutely brilliant, ably holding her own amongst the boys and even taking on an additional role of chief photographer and videographer on the trip. Since that first Arctic expedition challenge, Lucy has confidently carved out a lucrative career in the TV industry. But not only that, she's also become an independent and highly sought after Arctic ski tour guide and adventurer in her own right. She even has her own YouTube channel, for goodness sake. Adventure has absolutely transformed Lucy's life. Now, finally, let's meet Terrell McIntosh. Terrell was a young man growing up in South London. Unfortunately, his dad had been in prison his entire life, and tragically, his mother had died when he was just 8 years old. He was sent into the care system, and as a result of all this trauma, suffered badly from depression. He was also bullied because of his sexuality and racially abused, which led to him self-harming and also to multiple suicide attempts. But in 2012, Terrell bravely volunteered to join a trekking expedition I was leading to the Sinai Desert in Egypt on behalf of a charity called British Exploring Society. It was an adventurous expedition designed to help disadvantaged young people aged 16 to 21 gain confidence, develop life skills, and ultimately to help them get a job. We successfully trekked across the Sinai Desert with the local Bedouin and camels in support during the middle of summer. It was incredibly hot, but we made it across in one piece. 9 years later, Terrell has acquired four university degrees, and he's also become a qualified school teacher. But today, he's following his entrepreneurial dream of running his own restaurant in London. It's called Sugarcane. And when we last spoke a few weeks ago, Terrell was about to open his second restaurant. Adventure has without doubt transformed Terrell's life too. So in summary, adventure has the power to be transformative. It really can transform your life. And being adventurous will give you so many special powers, including self-confidence, resourcefulness, and of course, resilience. So don't delay, have yourself an adventure and be adventurous. And if I can help you in any way, do get in touch. Thanks.